Good afternoon. How are you? This is coming to you live, Sherlia Speaks, and I am your host, Phyllis Lyons. One of my topics today, we're going to get started on where I left off at a couple of months ago, and I told you then that I was going to take a pause and come back to my podcast. So we were able to get back together on today, which I consider to be a blessing since it has been a little while since I've been able to do this. So since that time, we were still on the topic of the renewing of your mind and some of the steps that it will take and that it has taken me personally to achieve some of those things. The thing that I have found out in studying up under some of the other professionals, biblical studies, that as long as you are living, you will continuously begin to have the renewing of your mind. Every 10 years, your body is going to change, your mind is going to change, the world, the atmosphere, your surroundings, and everything that you have is going to change. So, with that being said, you're constantly going to be renewing your mind with the surroundings and the circumstances. And also, in conjunction with that, we're going to combine a mother survival skills combined with self-care. Anyone that have to deal with any type of survival skills that have been thrusted upon you, and you did not grow up per se in that type of an environment where you constantly had to have a lot of streets skills, and you definitely had to have some type of physical skills because of the environment in which you grew up in. That is part of the survival skills. I think that there is a difference depending on when you have to use those survival skills. Once again, if you have grew up in that type of environment, I think that you are a little more ready for whatever that environment will cause you to do or react. If you are an older individual and because of certain circumstances, now you are thrusted into a survival mode. The only reference points that you have are things, other people's stories, or stuff that you have looked at on television, movies that you've gone to with parents or your friends, and you have learned visually from those survival skills. But you per se, as a grown person, having to come up with how to deal with survival skills at an older age, that's just me personally. I think it's a little more devastating. And with that being said, once again, I can combine the survival skills also with the renewing of your mind, because you have to develop within yourself a certain type of survival skills that will allow you not to quit, even though the circumstances may want you to give up because it's much harder than what you are accustomed to dealing with. But sometimes you have to just persevere on. There's going to be at least 4 or 5 other more segments that will come along with this. So I'm hoping that you have enjoyed just a little bit sneak preview of some of the things that we're going to be talking about. I would like to go back and recap again. I've already wrote a 6 weeks class in regards to the renewing of your mind. It's just for reference point. If people would like to read it, or we can sit down and talk about it, I would be more than happy to do so. So I'm hoping that I will return back to you at least a couple of times a week a week until I can get everything set up. And I appreciate you guys taking your time and being patient with me for taking such a long pause. But I'm thankful today that I was able to get some professional people to come in and help me to finish putting this podcast together. So once again, this is Sherlia Speaks, and I'm very glad to be here today, and I'm your host. God bless, and I will talk to you soon.